We're here to celebrate the new Kipco British Champion Series for 2017. It is the 60th anniversary of your first 2000 Guineas winner, and this was Crepello. So can you remind us what he did and what sort of horse he was?
Well, he was a great horse, really, but nobody ever thought the best of him. You know, he was a horse, he was bred to stay 2 miles, and he ran the first time 5 furlongs to Ascot, and he was just beaten. After that, he didn't run again till the middle part, and he was 4th, I think, and then he won Dewhurst. And then he only had the 2 races as a 3-year-old. You know, he won both of them, but not by very far, you know. He was a much better horse than he ever showed, really.
The other thing about Crepello himself is that he had notoriously dodgy legs, didn't he? Is that right?
Yeah, well, he always had those like stockings on, you know, all his life, just to help him a bit, really, because he was a bit heavy in front. He was trained for the King George at Ascot, and it rained so much that it was bottomless ground, and so he wouldn't run him. We had to go for the St Leger then, because that was the obvious thing, you know. There wasn't all these big races like there are now. So when he was fine, but he was working, I suppose, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the St Leger, and when he broke down. You know. And he was always, you know, a very free-going horse, you know, and that didn't help him much. You know.
The other race he won was the Derby, and a horse with suspect legs you would not expect to run terribly happily at Epsom, is that right?
Of course it's right, you know, but you had to run then because there wasn't any obvious other races, really. So that was, you know, that's what we had to do, is just run in the free classics. You know. And
of course it became obvious soon with Ballymoss, who was runner-up to Crepello, that this was a pretty high quality derby.
I suppose it was, yeah, because Ballymoss won everything afterwards.
2 days after winning the Derby on Crepello, you had a very special moment when you rode Carrozza to win the Oaks by a very narrow margin for the Queen.
Well, she was only a little filly, you know, and I suppose she was a little bit lucky to win that day, you know, because the second was flying. I think I only had 3 rides at that meeting, and they all won.
Really?
They all won, you know. Because I was a bit heavy then, you know.
What was the outstanding horse of your career?
That I rode? Well, so I rode, yeah. For me, anyway.
Just finally then, you're 81 now, Lester, but you're reasonably fit. When is the 3rd Lester Piggot career beginning? You coming back again?
Well, you never know, do you?
You heard it here first.